If you're looking to get your music placed in popular TV shows, movies, and commercials, and you're brand new to sync licensing, you don't really know how to get started or how the industry works or what strategies work best, this is a video and a complete tutorial made just for you, okay? Before we jump in though, I want you to be very fully aware that while you might have heard something about sync in terms of the upsides, right? Sync fees you can earn, royalties you can earn, the exposure you could potentially get by getting major prominent placements. We all are aware of the upsides. What you're going to learn in this video, which you might not have learned in any other video or any other article or blog you've read about this industry, is the actual real challenges that are ahead of you, okay? I've been in this business for 17 years now, so I've seen quite a few challenges in my path and in my journey. But despite those challenges, I was able to carve out full-time income for myself by securing hundreds, if not thousands, of placements on major TV shows, movies, and commercials. You can do the same thing, but it's not going to come fast and it's not going to come easy. So if you have a long-term mindset, you're ready to actually stick with this thing for multiple months and potentially multiple years, then you should continue on with this tutorial, okay? So let's go ahead and just jump right into it. Number one, you have to be able to make music that can get placed at scale, meaning if you make experimental music and ethereal music, maybe meditation music, mood music, something like that, chances are there's not going to be a ton of use for your styles of music. So you can definitely get placements in all different styles in this industry, but if you have any prayer, you want to have a prayer of turning this into full-time income, you should probably focus on the most in-demand genres, the ones that are basically flying off the shelf every single week and getting new placements on TV shows primarily. I'm going to list what those genres are right now, okay? Rock, hip hop, which includes trap, orchestral, trailer music, tension music, EDM, minimal, folk and Americana, and world. Now, inside of all those major genres are hundreds of subgenres, and more or less, most of them will work. But definitely you want to skew your music more towards the mid-tempo, up-tempo BPMs, the higher tempo ranges, and more energetic and intense. If you just turn on your TV, turn on a streaming show right now, listen to the music you're hearing in popular TV shows and commercials, you'll find that a lot of the energy and the tempos are more on the intense side, the higher side, because generally people want to get audiences at the edge of their seat or compel their audiences to take some sort of an action, maybe buy a product or sign up for a service, or just make sure they don't walk away at the end of a scene and they want to continue watching for the rest of the show, okay? So that's your North Star in terms of if you're falling in those genres, or maybe a hybrid of combining maybe two of those genres together, you're in a much better spot than if you're making something that's outside of those wheelhouses, okay? Next, you do need to make sure that you understand exactly how this industry works. So I'm going to give you a very quick, down and dirty, rough sync licensing industry overview, so you know who the major players are, but more importantly, where you fit into it, okay? So you are obviously the star of the show. You make the music, you are a producer, you make music from your home studio, right? What you're going to do, if you want to follow in my footsteps and follow my strategy, is you're going to go partner with what are known as production music libraries. These are essentially publishers that only focus on getting music placed in primarily TV shows, also commercials, and occasionally movies, trailers, video games, other opportunities as well. Generally, they're going to split things with you 50-50. Whatever income is earned, half of it goes to the library, the publisher, and half of it stays with you. This is definitely a very, very fair outcome and a very fair split, in my opinion, because I don't personally have these relationships in place. And if you're watching this video, chances are you don't have a cousin or an uncle or somebody that can get your music directly pitched to these TV opportunities. If you do, go use that opportunity and go use that connection. But if you don't, I think production music libraries, these publishers, are the best bet for this sort of opportunity in our industry, okay? So essentially, they're going to take your music on if they like it, if it's high quality, and then they're going to go pitch it to their TV, film, and movie clients, right? And so with that, you could earn two forms of royalties, or two forms of payments, rather. One is upfront sync fees. That would be a one-time fee that you can earn. And then when your track gets placed in, say, a popular TV show, you would earn back-end performance royalties that would get paid right out to you, either into your bank account or just a check in your mailbox every single time your track actually gets aired on TV. So that's the passive back-end mailbox money. That's the stuff that you really got to protect, and that's really the crucial part of this strategy, at least what's really been something that I leaned on and relied on much more than occasionally getting a sync fee for some big opportunity, okay? So essentially, the goal is to stack up as many of those placements as you possibly can through these libraries, through these publishers, to potentially build up your royalties and sync fees to amount into full-time income, okay? It's going to be hard. It's going to be challenging. It's going to take a long time for that to happen. What's a long time? 2 to 5 years is probably the most aggressive timeline that I have seen coaching all these producers I have for the last 9 years here on the internet. So as I said, it doesn't come quick, but it can come if you see it more as a 401k plan where you're consistently adding, you're consistently producing, partnering with great companies, and stacking up your placements to the point where your royalties and your sync fees amount to something you can actually rely upon. And don't worry, I will provide you with tons of resources at the end of this video for how to find these companies and how to make sure that your music is ready to go to start getting pitched to them to potentially start getting those TV placements, okay? So now that you have gotten an overview of how the industry works, one really smart thing you should do is go sign up for a PRO, a performing rights organization. So these are the companies like ASCAP and BMI in the US that will go around collecting your royalties for you. Okay, so if you're based in the US and you are not yet a member of ASCAP or BMI as a writer, you should do that today. I am currently with BMI. I have been with them for over 10 years, and I highly, highly encourage them. For those of you that want to follow in my footsteps and work with production music libraries, I feel that their rates are really great, and I like the way that they have been updating their website recently. They don't pay me to say this. I'm not an affiliate, but if you want to sign up with either one of them, I will post the links below. I think they have like a $50 to $75 fee to join. You do need to be a member of a PRO to have any of those libraries, those publishers, accept you on as a composer. So go do it now, today, for sure, if you haven't already done that. Assuming you do have your membership in place with a PRO. Next is do some research. Don't make music yet. I know a lot of people want to just start making music because they're excited about getting your tracks placed, but it's really important that you do just a tiny bit of research to make sure you can find these publishers and these libraries before you make music. Why? Because you need to know what the marketplace is already currently supplying. You need to know what are these publishers actively pitching in their catalog, especially with the types of music that maybe you could provide to them. So you need to do just a little bit of digging to find out what's the quality level at. Are your tracks at the same quality as theirs, or at least matching that? What styles of music are they currently actively placing with their clients? You can obviously learn a lot of that by doing a little bit of research. And again, I will give you those resources at the end of this video, so make sure you do watch it to the end if you need to find where these libraries are and do a little bit more of this research. But with this tiny bit of homework you can do from the ground up, you will now have a target in mind. You know exactly what companies you want to potentially pitch to. You know what their music sounds like. You know what their client base sounds like, so that you know that you're not just shooting blind and just, hoping that something's going to work out in the end, but you're building your music from the ground up with a particular client and a target and a use case in mind. You will be far ahead of every other producer trying to get into sync if you just take a little bit of time at the very beginning to do this research, okay? Now, you have done your research, you found a library, you've been listening to all the music, and you're like, I think I know where I fit in, I think I know what I can do here. Great. Now it's time to start making music. Notice, though, I didn't say go watch a bunch of videos on how to make production music, or go listen to a lot of podcasts or tutorials on how to make production music. We all are guilty of being overeducated about everything online because there's so much access to new information and tutorials and experts, including me, on the internet. And while some experts can be very helpful and guide us down the paths we want to go down to, I don't believe that you're going to learn nearly as much as if you just open up your home DAW, open up your computer, put your fingers on your keyboard, and start making production music. Based on what you've been hearing, based on the research you've done, just start making music. You don't have to be perfect in the beginning, but doing it yourself will actually put you far ahead of everybody else who's waiting to get one more tutorial watched before they start composing. Just start doing it. Just start composing and A/B comparing your music the best you can to what you're hearing in these production music libraries. It will put you far ahead of everybody else. Just trust me on that, okay? Now, when you have a good solid group of tracks, maybe 3 to 5 that are ready to go, again, targeted at the companies that you already did your research on, now it's your time to start pitching them, okay? So what I highly recommend you do is you go one at a time through the libraries that you found. Maybe you find 5 of them that you feel are the best fit for you and your music, and you pitch to them one at a time. Do not BCC or CC them all together, sending the same music to all of them at the same time. Why? Almost every library and publisher you're going to come across in this production music world will require exclusivity. So if you pitch the same tracks to multiple publishers, and let's say 2 publishers come back to you at the same time, you have to kind of piss off one of them immediately, because you're going to have to say, well, I already committed to this other library. Sorry, I'm not going to give you what I promised you in my email you could potentially have. It's not going to rub them the right way. So I think it takes a little bit longer to do it this way, but I think it is the more customized, personal approach that is wise, that you send an actual customized pitch per company and give them maybe a week or two to reply to you. If they don't come back to you, don't worry about it. Move on to the next. It happens to all of us. And by the way, you should expect some level of non-replies or just polite no thank yous from production music libraries. You probably won't, hit a home run the first couple of times you pitch these libraries. There is a learning curve. There is a learning process. Nothing is ever personal. It's just a matter of consistently pitching and upping your skills to the point where you make something that's really high quality and you find that great production library partner for you. Okay. So hopefully in this process, in some of the libraries you pitch to, you will get accepted. And so now you're ready to basically start serving their needs on a consistent basis, again, to grow your catalog, to get more and more tracks distributed by them, okay? There is a bit of a numbers game to this strategy. So as soon as you're accepted by a library, your first question should be via email or Zoom call or text or whatever you're communicating with them is, thank you. Now what can I do for you? What other music can I provide? Should I give you more of what I just did? Are there other styles that are really interesting to you? Here are some other capabilities or genres that I can provide for you and your clients. What clients are you working on right now? What sort of initiatives or new projects are you trying to tackle? I would like to be a part of the solution for your upcoming projects. You have to be sort of the squeaky wheel. Do not wait for them to come to you and say, hey, John, Joe, hey, Jane, now we need you for this. You will not get ahead in this industry waiting for somebody to ask you for work. You should always be proactive and be asking how you can be useful. If you come to this industry with a service you first approach, meaning you, the library, the publisher, you will do far better than every other producer that's like, well, what's in it for me? And where are my placements? And why aren't you giving me this and that? That's a very common mindset, and it's really not attractive. It's fairly ugly. So just don't do that, and you'll be in a really strong position, okay? Now, if you don't have any luck, it might be that your email was maybe not worded the right way. More than likely what it is that your music probably wasn't the right fit, wasn't maybe at the quality level that they probably required, or it possibly could be that they just didn't see your submission. Some of these libraries get very busy at different parts of the year because they're currently working on a lot of high quality projects and pitching the shows and all that kind of stuff. And their priority usually is, and we want it to be this way, to pitch to the clients that they currently have and obviously interface with the composers and the producers that they've already onboarded, because you want to be one of those and you want to make sure that you get FaceTime, with these library owners as well. So for a variety of reasons, nobody really can tell. But again, don't sweat it. It's not personal. It's just baked into all of our experiences. I've been rejected by libraries. Everybody watching this video, for sure, if you've been partnered with libraries, you've been rejected by libraries as well. It's just a part of the deal. Okay, so we've gone through a lot in this video. So if that was a lot to take in, I understand. I do apologize for that. Feel free, rewind this one, watch it again. There might be some new information that you pick up on that you maybe didn't catch the first time around. Very, very smart, very intelligent, very wise to take notes on these very, very important topics we're talking about. But as promised, I have something that can absolutely help you find these production music companies, these production music libraries, and these publishers that you can partner with to start stacking up your TV, film, and commercial placements, okay? I can also give you much further details on really how this industry operates, how to ensure that your tracks are ready to start pitching to these companies, and also how to make sure that even if your tracks get accepted by one of these companies, it doesn't just sit on their shelf and collect digital dust, but actually has a much higher chance of flying off the shelf and being used by popular TV shows, movies, and commercials. So if you're interested in this free resource, all you got to do is just click on the link down below. It'll be the pinned top comment, and it's also going to be in the description box. It's called my Sync Starter Course. And just like this video, it is meant for newbies. It's meant for beginners. It's meant for people that maybe have a lot of talent and passion and desire to make music and are just learning and trying to figure out how do they navigate these new waters of sync licensing. So if that's you and I haven't scared you off by the end of this video, then you're probably a really, really good candidate for this potential industry working out for you, okay? So go ahead and click on that video or in that link below. And in that course, I'll help you find and show you how to find these production music libraries for yourself. More importantly, how to understand which ones might be the right fit for you and your particular genre, not just any company out there, but really making sure that you're taking the time again to do that research, that you're targeting the right kinds of companies that can increase your chances of getting placements. And I'll also let you know what I feel are the top 5 reasons why 90-95% of producers basically don't make it in this business. It's kind of a rough statistic, but I think it's true. It's a small number of producers that are able to consistently show up in this industry long enough to start seeing some of those royalties and sync fees stack up to the point where it starts to pay their bills. And I'll explain in this free course the 5 top, I call them mistakes, that most producers are making, which basically eventually causes their burnout and causes them to actually quit and leave this industry prematurely before they actually start seeing some great results. So if you don't want to commit one of those 5 mistakes unknowingly, this would be a free resource that you do not want to skip out on. So go ahead and click on that, and I'll see you inside of that Sync Starter course. Other than that, please do click subscribe. Welcome to the channel. I put out new videos like this every Monday and Wednesday. I would appreciate a like. And more importantly, if there's anything in this video that was confusing, I didn't cover, something that fits in between the cracks of all these really important topics, comment it below. I will absolutely personally answer your question right here on the channel. So don't be shy. There are no stupid questions. Ask your question. You never know. You might be helping out other producers as well that have the same question, but maybe they're a little too shy to ask it. Doesn't matter where you are in this business. If you're brand new, somewhat experienced, I would love to hear from you regardless. So make sure you do comment below. And thank you so much for watching.